Matt Gann, I want to circle the Waganns now, but the first question I have for you before you start, do you have any insight into what the heck is happening with Mackenzie Donahue and why she's not with the team anymore?
No, I just officially saw the statement from Patty today that she's no longer going to be with the team, no longer going to see her. So,
So crazy.
I've seen some rumors out there. It's hard to say what exactly it is. I've heard that she's transferring. I heard it was a couple other things, but nothing's confirmed. So, obviously, best of luck to her. She's always been kind of the energy behind the team. Her and
She
Jay
was your
Coleman
girl,
together.
man. You were big
I
time
know.
Air Donahue.
Air Donahue. I mean, who can forget the catch? I mean,
No one.
it's hard to forget. So, who knows what the reason is? Obviously, best of luck to her. She's been a pretty big staple for OU for the last couple of years.
All right, let's circle those Waganns, baby. Let's get it.
Of
One
course.
thing, one more thing on that. I mean,
Let's hit it.
I also saw that the locker room may have kicked her out.
I saw that too.
There's
Which
a lot
that's
there.
juicy.
Yeah.
I want to know what happened if that's the case.
Yeah, I saw something. There might have been a team vote that she got in with Patty. It's hard to say, right? Unless you're inside the locker room. I mean, all the other news outlets and the people I've seen on Twitter that are into OU softball, nothing's confirmed. So
Yeah, getting into the best coach in softball history that's not a good idea. Never going to win that.
Bad looks.
bad looks.
No one,
For sure.
no one's bigger than the program, and Patty Gasso is the program.
She is the program.
So
Give the
sorry.
program the patch.
That's pretty much it.
She
All right,
is.
Gann.
Absolutely. Well, before I jump into softball, because they've had a huge weekend last week, and obviously their season just ended the regular season. So a lot of the Big 12 awards came out. So I want to hop in that at the very end. So I want to give you some quick updates on a couple other programs that are doing just as well. So OU's men's baseball. I know I've been getting a little bit of a hard time this year.
Deservedly
from-
so. Don't feel bad.
So they've definitely been up and down. Their last couple of games, they lost to Dallas Baptist 10-1. Then they came and played TCU, won 2 out of 3 against TCU on the road. So not bad for them. Overall, they're 29-17. And from what I've seen is they are projected to make the regionals. It's kind of, all the different NCAA sports. I always go to regionals, super regionals, all that. So they are projected to make it, which is always good, right? You can't complain about trying to make it to the postseason. So they next have a 3-game series, I guess, West Virginia. And then they have, I think, only 4 or 5 more games left in the regular season before they head to the Big 12 tournament as well. And so we got a couple people in the regionals. I haven't talked about them yet because I've talked about the other side of this sport. I've talked a lot of OU women's tennis. OU's men's tennis actually did make it to the regionals. They beat number 23 Louisville 4-2. Then they turned around and got smacked 4-0 to Michigan, who's number 5 in the country. Now, OU was unranked going into it, so I don't think there's a lot of expectations. But again, another program making it to the postseason. You love to see it no matter who it is, whatever your season was. It's always good to make it to the postseason. Right?
Always.
So good season for them. Now, the women, they are currently in the regionals. They just beat Bryant 4-0. They beat number 17 Arizona State 4-3. Now they are heading to super regionals this weekend, and they are playing number 15 Stanford. I want to say it was still in Oklahoma, but I'll have to TBD on the location for that. But the women still continuing to have an outstanding season, historic season, definitely in OU women's tennis history. So good for them. Now, OU's men's golf, they recently won the Big 12 championship just a couple weekends ago. And I told you guys on the last podcast during this segment, they are playing regionals this week in Norman, since it did get moved from Alabama due to course conditions. So if you're in Norman this weekend, head on over to Jimmy Austin, root on the number 1 Sooners in the nation as they head into regionals this weekend. So those are just a couple of the quick updates on the other programs. Before I head into the main one, I mean, let's give it up to the women of OU softball. Big 12 season regular champs after clinching a 3-0 series against their home state rivals, Oklahoma State. And let's just not forget, in that third game of OSU, they were down 1-3 in the bottom, I believe, the 5th or 6th inning. Jocelyn also comes up to bat, bases loaded. What do you guys think happened? She hits an absolute moon of a grand slam to put the Sooners in the lead.
I thought it
They
would be
end
a
up winning.
smasher.
Smackaroo.
Smacker.
This absolute grand smacker for our girl
Smackaroos.
Jocelyn Allo. So they ended up beating OSU and claiming that regular season title. They will be the number 1 seed going into the Big 12 tournament this weekend, and they will play, since they get a first round bye, will either play Baylor or Iowa State, the winner of that game. But like I mentioned to you before, a lot of Big 12 season awards. So I got to go through the list because, there's a lot of them. So let's start with Patty Gasso. We were just talking about her. Big 12 Coach of the Year.
Shocking.
I mean, I think it's obvious, right? I mean, the Sooners were 48-1, 35 run rule wins, 455 total runs scored, and only 41 total runs allowed. I think based on those stats alone, anyone could have been the Coach of the Year on that staff. Let's just be real. So looking at the other awards here, obviously Jocelyn Allo, Big 12 unanimous first team. Alyssa Brito, Big 12 second team. Jordy Ball, freshman pitcher of the year.
Nice.
Bang,
And
bang.
Big
Matt
12
Gann was on her
first
from
team
the
as
jump.
well.
That's right. Matt Gann. Give
She
yourself
has-
some credit, man. You were there before the
Mhm.
season even started. on
Calling
Jordy
out
Ball.
Jordy Ball.
Guys, she
Star.
has absolutely lived up to the hype. I've watched a lot of the highlights, a lot of the games, and watching her pitch, it is absolutely incredible. And it's not just her, the whole pitching staff, which I know at the very beginning when we started was kind of the makeshift of, hey, is this going to work? This is kind of the weak point, and they've actually been the strongest point other than the offense. So she gets Big 12 first team in her first year. So congratulations to her. Jada Coleman, also Big 12 first team, and Tiara Jennings as well. And then Grace Lyons, Big 12 first team and defensive player of the year. She has got to be, and to those words, I saw the quote, Patty Gasso says is the best defensive shortstop she has ever seen in college softball history. So that is some big news coming out of Big 12 and obviously from Patty Gasso as well. So you love to see it. A huge, huge win for the Sooners this weekend. And what a regular season, obviously historic as they head into the postseason. So looking forward to the Big 12 championship and then regionals.
What an electric circle the Waganns. Way to go, Matt Gann. Once again, credit to Matt Gann on Jordy Ball from the jump. I'm glad Mark pointed it out because he really was. And Matt, the segment's sweeping the nation.